Gotta come and get me. My horse, Thanos, has quit. He's laid down. I can't get him up. I says, is he breathing okay? Is something wrong? He says, no, he's fine. Has he hurt a leg? Has he broke his leg or anything like that? No, he's fine. He's laying down. I can't get him up. And I says, well, just give me a minute. I'm on some milk. He'll get up in a minute. He's probably, whatever, he's just laid down. He's going to get up. I've never seen a horse that hasn't. So I says, okay. I says, I'm on these elk, so I'm going to stay on these elk for a minute, and then I'll call you back.
Which means he's following some episodes.
Yeah.
So I followed these elk for about another mile. I kept trying to get around them. Don't ask me questions. I kept trying to get around them and get them caught off to get in front of them so I could get to where they were. So I finally got there and sat down, and they were way up on the mountain. I tied Cinnamon, my horse, up, and I just waited for the elk to come down the mountain. Okay? So finally they came down, and I shot, and I got one. And about that time, I called, Lamont and Ben called me, and I says, have you guys heard from BJ? And they says, no, we haven't heard from BJ for a long time. I said, when was the last time you heard from him? And they said, well, he radioed and he didn't say his horse was down. He just told him, I'm in a lot of crap. Oh, he said shit. And they thought he was stopping to take a crap. And so they didn't call him back.
He's asked for help and nobody comes to get him.
So he's telling, and they didn't understand him. So then I was so far away from Lamont and them, they could never find me, they'd never see me. So I had to turn around and ride my horse all the way back about 2 miles, back to where Lamont and his buddy Ben Johnson were. So I get back to where Ben Johnson is, and Lamont. And it says, look, have you guys heard from BJ? They say, no, we're going. Well, that horse has had to get up. Now my radio's dead. And unbeknownst to us, BJ's walkie-talkie, his batteries have died also. So we have no way of contacting him. We don't know where he is. Have no idea where he is. I mean, literally no idea. We had like a rough idea. I could say he was somewhere between here. He's between here and your house someplace. Because there's about a 4-mile stretch in there, and that's where we split up. So I don't know how far he got in before his horse went. Have no idea. And we can't radio contact him, so he can't tell us where he is or anything. So then we have to make a decision. And we figured by now, where my radio's dead, his is dead too. So we figured, well, he'll just keep coming this way because he's behind us quite a ways. But Thanos will get up and he'll get down on the trail, and we all have one place that we all know, and that's where we were supposed to meet. Well, from where we were supposed to meet, I tracked and shot the elk about another 1.5 miles, 2 miles in. So we decided to go get the elk. So we go clear back in and we get the elk, and then we come back out and we think we should meet BJ, but we don't meet him, and we don't meet him. So we start riding out. So when we get down to kind of where...
What time is this in the day?
This was 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
No questions, sir.
It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon when we decided to start riding out. So for the next hour and a half, we searched for him. We're yelling. I was the horse yesterday, I couldn't even talk because I'm yelling BJ, and you can just hear it echo for miles. There's no wind, it's so calm. It's like, BJ! BJ, BJ, BJ. It just goes on forever, but we can never hear him holler back. So we start down the trail and we come to a place that we call Stove Canyon. And so from there we figured we got to go up in this area where we kind of know he is and spread out. So I says, Ben, if we're in the vicinity, because Ben's the only one that had a pistol because I didn't take mine. He says, fire your pistol in the air 3 times. And if BJ hears it, he'll fire back. So Ben fired his pistol. Boom, boom, boom. And we sit and wait, and then we hear boom, boom. So we knew it was BJ. So we decided to ride up this canyon. So we start riding up the canyon, and BJ, or not BJ, but Lamont and his friend, me and Ben start up the mountain. We go this way, and Lamont and his friend's son ride about another 50 yards and find BJ's coveralls in the trail with a note saying, I'm up this canyon, I'm stuck, I still can't get my horse up. So we heard the shots, and when I heard them, I was down and I said, did they come from over here or here? Those guys went to Bethany and they said they're over here. So we started up the canyon. So I went through the bottom and Ben went up on top, so we're kind of spread out. And we're yelling, and now we can just barely hear him. So we keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going. And finally, Cinnamon and I was in stuff that it was just great big trees. I didn't know how I was going to get my horse in or out of there. It was nasty, nasty, nasty country. And it was steep like this, and it got to the point I couldn't even hardly get Cinnamon to go up, and I'd have to let her rest, and then she'd go up about from here to the stairs, and we'd have to stop, and she was just totally exhausted. She had no energy left at all. Now I can hear BJ and I can talk to him. And I'm saying, BJ, just give me a minute, I'm still coming. He says, my horse still will not move. And I'm thinking, what in the heck? Well, in the meantime, BJ had hiked all the way down that canyon, about a mile, at least a mile, down to the bottom to the main trail, and then he had hiked about 2 to 2.5 miles up to the canyon, up to what we call Radio Ridge, where we were all supposed to meet. And then he turned around when he couldn't find us, and he yelled and yelled. But see, by that time, we were about 2 miles back into getting the elk.
So you guys went like that?
No, we went like this.
Oh, you followed each other?
We were going like this, and he was coming, and he stopped here. This is where we were supposed to meet.
Oh, that's horrible.
And we kept going 2 more miles to get the elk I shot. So I had to ride all the way back and get those guys. So I made that trip like 3 times. Okay? And by that time, we're 17 miles from the pickup or so. Well, not quite 17. But on the tracking machine that they have, we rode 18 miles, and I rode some of that twice looking for them. So I figure I rode about 25 miles. And my shoulders and not my bum, but my thigh muscles, because it is clinging, hang on tight. It is rough country over there. It's like Lamont says, Wyatt, this is way too far to come getting out. It's just ridiculous. Who's pulling down in my yard?
BJ?
No, that's my horse. That's the guy's bringing
So
coffee
what
back.
happened to his horse?
So anyway, I never did get to his horse because I couldn't get there. I was looking for I'm going to have to go down and find another way back up and around. And just about the time I said that, Ben says, hey, I found him. I found him. And so when he got there, Ben tried to help him get Thanos out. So Ben grabbed the halter, and BJ got a willow. Ben was pulling on the halter. BJ was whipping Thanos, and he would not move. They could not get him to move. And BJ had tried everything. BJ had taken his saddle off. He had spun him around. The horse would spin. But he couldn't get him to come out of the big, thick brush they were in.
Yeah.
And it's nasty stuff.
And he said he took everything off him. He just left him.
So anyway, when Ben gets there, Ben tries to help him get Thanos out. And they cannot get Thanos out. They can't get him to budge for anything. So finally, they take their lead ropes, I guess, or maybe just one, I don't know. And they wrap it around, because Ben's horse went right up to him. And they wrap it around the saddle horn, and they literally have to drag Thanos out. And Ben says we had to drag him about 45 yards.